Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for this it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed. And lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented him with gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. So the question is, what does Christmas mean to me? Well, Christmas has always been a time to reflect on life. And, no matter how difficult things might seem, if we are obedient to God and do what He asks, just as we saw in the scripture here that I've just read, we will persevere. No matter how difficult things get, we simply must stay obedient and trust God, who gave His one and only Son. And what is my favorite Christmas memory? Well, I've experienced many great and wonderful Christmases in my life. My first Christmas in our first house with my beloved Jane. The wonder of watching nieces and nephews as they unwrapped presents. But my favorite Christmas, I suppose, was when I was just 7 years old. You see, my dad had been very sick. He had had brain surgery and was hospitalized in St. Louis Jewish Hospital. And he'd been there for nearly 5 months. And I missed him so much. He was my hero. He was my daddy. But the word came, and I heard it, that he possibly was going to be home for Christmas in a few days. But then he was going to have a second surgery. And I went to bed every night just praying that Daddy was coming home. Well, the days went by, and I began to lose hope that it was going to happen. And on my last day of school, as it arrived and I came walking home from my bus stop, as I topped the hill that overlooked my folks' house, the driveway was full of cars. And standing out in the front yard of the house was one of my uncles. And he said, "There is a great surprise for you inside." And I knew at that point what that surprise was. I rushed in, and there sat my dad in his chair, and I was just overjoyed. Now, my mom had kind of prepared me and said, money is extremely tight this year, and there won't be very many presents, if any, under the tree. But as I popped over that hill and saw that group of people waiting for me to come home, I knew that things were going to be just perfect. And my dad was a symbol of someone who was obedient, someone who listened to God. He gave up his former life, and he walked obediently from that time on. Today, I had the pleasure of reading that scripture to you from his Bible. Merry Christmas.